Hi, this is Dr. Scott Young, and today we're going to do something very different. We're going to talk about the 17th letter on the 34th or 35th post. It came up, and I think that you might find it fascinating because it speaks of things I never even saw before, and I've never seen anyone even talk about. Coming right up. Now, I'm going to teach you a sign, okay? And in sign language, you can actually do the alphabet, okay? And so I do a lot of sign language. And in that, I want to show you something that I think that you might find very, very interesting. So it's this: A B C D E F G H I J K L M N O P RS. So which one did I choose? Okay, so it's this. And how you always know this is there's a way you say G, like a GQ magazine. Okay, so that's what we're talking about here. So why do I do that? Because it messes up the sensors with that too. So let's bring this up on the screen and you'll kind of see what happens. Now, I've talked about this before. You want to go to drscottyoung.com. You'll arrow down most of the way on the page. You can find where my real social media sites are, because don't buy that other crap in there. Okay, that's all fake. Okay, let's jump into this one here. It's the 35th, and it's on November of 2017. So POTUS is well aware and insulated, protected on AF1, Air Force One, and abroad. Specific locations classified. While these operations are conducted due to the nature of the entrenchment, and you go, wait, what? And we'll talk about that. It's time to take back our country and make America great again. Oh, that's interesting. Let's salute and pray for the brave men and women in uniform. What is today? Today is the 6th of, of, of June. And you go, well, and you're going to see this on the 7th, but it's so relevant because on the 7th of June, we just barely got into the Normandy beaches. We just got past a little bit of those encampments and weren't even that far in. So, who undertake this assignment, bringing forth peace, unity, and a return to power for the people. This is exactly what he had said, not even 8 months earlier at this point. It is our hope that this message reaches enough people to make a meaningful impact. We cannot yet telegraph this message through the normal methods for reasons I'm sure where everyone can understand. Follow the questions from the previous threads and remain calm. And it says threads. It's the 34th is actually about the EBS. So it's referring back to the 34th because this happens on the exact same day of the EBS conversation, of my fellow Americans conversation. Now, the primary targets are within DC and remain at the top level on both sides. What both sides? We'll talk about that. And the spillover is in the streets that will quickly shut down. Look for more false flags, stay alert, be vigilant, above all pray. For God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten Son. I'm saying it my old method, that whoever believes in him shall not perish and have everlasting life. Love is patient, love is kind. God bless my fellow Americans. 4:10 of 20. Okay, so let's jump into this one. Let's do that first that first paragraph. POTUS is well insulated. And it's talking about specific locations of nature to the entrenchment. So what I want you to understand first off is the nature entrenchment means the areas of where we have to go into the dumps and get these guys out. Okay, so that's Space Force kind of thing. Take time and take our country back and make America great again. Well, what are they actually going after Trump over? The 2020 election, and they all have a hissy fit when they say they see Make America Great Again. Interesting point. What day are we in? We are in June 6th today. Well, you'll see it on the 7th on this. Interesting. And it talks about bringing peace, unity, and return to power of the people. So first thing that we see, and we're thinking about the same thing, what happened on 530? Well, there's convictions times 34. Again, EBS, that's the EBS one, and talks about my fellow Americans, and talks about EBS, EMS, and how that has to occur. So again, this is on the same day when we look at that. This is the Kabbalah desire, and it says that they're going to do the sentencing on 7/11/24. Now, Elon Musk, almost 2 years ago, on the same date as this, actually fascinating, he put out this big picture of 7-Eleven stores. Some people don't have those in some states, but basically it's just a one place where you can get gas. And it's a 7-Eleven, and the gas price was $7.11. Why does he use this? Because this date we knew we had a significance. Now we're talking about a military operation that has been long planned for. And the idiots have no ability to stop it. But they're walking into the trap here and setting a date that some of them have no idea because they're stupid, and some of them do have the idea but they can't stop it. Then when they talk about taking away the Secret Service protection, that's basically a death threat. Now when you do a death threat against the sitting POTUS, military has to get in, and that says that we're super close to an imminent threat point that military has to actually come in. So are we super close to that time frame? Let's move forward. It's our hope that this message reaches enough people to make a meaningful impact. What message are we talking about? Let's get into that. Message reads a meaningful impact. It's talking about social media. So one of the things that has to happen on EBS is it has to be over the social media platforms, all of them. It's going to co-opt every single one of them. If you're watching this video on the day that EBS happens, you'll get clicked off and we'll go to another area. That's fine. Lose all my views, I don't care with that kind of thing. But that is what will happen to all of them. And we have to deal with the TV, cable, other streaming services, and lastly, radio with that too. Cannot tell you the dates. He goes, follow those things, remain calm. Primary targets are within this time frame. But it says, I cannot give you the exact meaningful time frame, or we can't telegraph this. Now, understand something fascinating. The Cabal idiots are Satanists. When they tell you about a date, it actually tells you, or they predict something happened. Comey actually came out and predicted 1 week before Trump would be convicted. They predicted he would be convicted of all counts. And almost none of the CNN people, stupid, knew what they were talking about. He actually predicted it. It tells you little Satanist boy had something out there. They have to tell you their plan. But real military don't tell you their plan. This is what pisses people off in our movement. And they're like pissed off that why won't you tell me the date? And I use this term all the time. 10 people in the world know the date. I'm not one of them. It's because they wouldn't tell Scott. We're gleaning this kind of stuff through enough of the messages with a meaningful impact. What do you think we're doing right now? Trying to make a meaningful impact. When you follow the previous threads, including number 34, you see the information about the EBS. Now it says, a very fascinating point, primary targets are within DC, remain at the top on both sides. Both sides of what? The Democrats and the Republicans. Now when people talk about, oh, it's all the Democrats and the left wing. No. They're Republican too. Look at Lindsey Graham. Look at Mitch McConnell. I call him with a B, but I'm not going to try to do that in front of you here. And it's just the sickness. It's sickness on both sides. I mean, James Langford from Oklahoma, definitely deep into the cabal. He's lied to me many times. This is who these people are. Okay. These are the threats. Now, some of them are overt threats like the shifts, and other ones are, the covert ones. And that's what you got to see beyond. Stop trying to like go toward it, which means you can't have an election for 2024 until we have Nasara going. This is why I keep saying this to you. When it says it spills into the streets, outrage over conviction, do you know what actually occurred just the other day? And I'm missing the exact date. Movie called Civil War comes out. Obama puts his little fingerprints all over it. And what they want to do is the Western states, which would be like California coming over, and they're taking over the government and they want to kill President Trump. This is what they're telling you, their whole plot. They don't want to lock him up. They want to kill him. And they want to gloat over his body. They want you to foment war. The answer is we're not doing it. When you watch the movie V for Vendetta, you have a peaceful movement of people just coming forward and coming forward. And they don't do anything. They don't push anyone on the way. They just walk forward. It's so overwhelming. This is what we're doing, but we're doing it from a digital front. We also see everywhere they go, they're protesting them left and right, all the sides. They have no idea how bad it is because these people are so ignorant and useless. They're useless creatures. These false flags will keep coming. It talks about praying with it too. It means have this spiritual component with this as well. Now, I know lots of people want to talk about God, and we see people in our movement that will talk about God or they talk about pray, but they really don't understand it. Okay? You need to be getting yourself in the Word. I just had this guy Ernest that was watching me on News Treason 17, and those Doug and Dave and Mark, and this is where this comes from, by the way. Hey, Ernie, and I was talking with him. This is where it comes out, and he goes, the one thing I really realized I needed to do is get back with the Lord. I needed to get back and get up early in the morning. That makes me more excited than anything else can happen, because if I'm bringing someone to the King of Kings and your groom, then I've succeeded. That's all I ever want in that situation. Third paragraph, or second paragraph, sorry, which is the bottom paragraph with that too. Now, it has a double ellipsis. I mean, a double meaning without the ellipsis. And that's very, very interesting. I'm going to explain what that means here. So, for God so loved the world is a very common message. This is in John 3:16. Now, let me kind of stop here for a second, because almost most Christians they have verses that they memorize. And one of the more powerful ones is John 3:16. For God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten Son, that everyone who believes in him will not perish, but have an everlasting life. So when it talks about love, it's a word called agapeo. And agapeo is a type of full-on love, a selfless love. Now, it's listed in many other places, including in Ephesians 5. And Ephesians 5 actually is talking to the bride and the groom, and they have different conversations about the bride and the groom, or men and women. And men need to love their wives in a selfless agape love with that too. And when they have that kind of love, the woman is submitting, and not in the submitting, she's bowing down on her knees. Okay, that's stupid stuff. Okay, that's what you think of it is. She's underneath his authority. We have this thing, and by the way, if you knew a man who was loving you with a selfless love without pushing his own self-interest in front, he put your self-interest, would you want to be under that covering of a man? And the answer is, real women do want that. Okay, and real men need to be that, and they're getting that respect from the wife. It is this coexistent relationship that happens out there. This is the totality that he's talking about. Why? And I'm going to tell you who this is. Why would this gentleman explain that point? But then he puts a really strange point, and I had never saw this until about a few days ago, when I was thinking love is patient, love is kind. That's not in John 3:16. Not one person has ever brought this up. So John 3:16 is I would say it's a post and sorrow verse, but it's also all the way through. It's a spiritual rising. So we're going to see this. Now, it is a salvation verse. Don't get me wrong. It's a salvation message from the time frame that Jesus was on leaving this earth in 33 AD, all the way through the Gospels, all the way through the church age. And yet we're going to see this kind of thing come up in never before kind of mechanisms. But where does this love is patient, love is kind of come up? Well, it's from 1 Corinthians 13:4. It says love is patient. And what that means in the Greek is it means long suffering. Let me ask you a question. Agape love or agape is long suffering. Does that not feel exactly what you're dealing with right now? Do you feel long suffering like it's gone on forever and ever? It just feels like it's never going to get over? Yeah. It says agape is kind, acting benevolently, not at the benefit of me, but the benefit of the other people out there. And you go, wait a second, that's what we're supposed to be. That's what we're supposed to be in America. That's what we're supposed to be in Afghanistan. That's what we're supposed to be in South Africa. That's where we're supposed to be in Canada. Each one of these nations are going to have Jasara, and they're going to be focusing on themselves, focusing on what they can do to build themselves up, because a strong country of Canada is a great country. And they'll be independent. They need to have a sovereign circumstance and independence with this. And when it says bringing power back to the people, he was talking to the world, but we didn't notice it. Who said that? Well, when it says 4, 10, 20, those are the actual letters in a gematria kind of thing. 4 is the fourth letter in DJT, Donald J. Trump. Like, holy cow. Now, when I said ellipsis, I want you to look up here. Okay, so for God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten Son, anyone that whosoever believes in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. Love is patient, love is kind. You should have put an ellipsis here. They should have done that. That's how I would have written this. No, trust me, these people would have known this kind of circumstance, and I would bet you $1,000,000 Trump knew exactly what that was. But he threw that in there as a point like, can you research this? We don't have enough people researching what they believe. We don't have enough people, they just read it and it passes by their filters. And so I'm trying to dig out something for you and tell you they were pulling in a second set of verses. So when we have people that have agape love, a totality selfless love, a salvation, it's not just, it's a double message here. Salvation of America, salvation of Canadians, on and on, but coming back to Jesus. And that we have this love is patient, love is kind, love is long suffering. That's what we're going through in this way. I'm not going to go over this one here, but you're getting, it's all coming down. And I've used this one before. All the systems are coming down and they're freaking out about it. Don't freak out about it. When you hear some of those areas and they tell you their fear porn message, and I hear people doing this all the time. When you hear a message and you're feeling like, right? And you feel that way? Well, what is that of God? When you listen to my messages, do you feel like, oh, I'm so scared? You didn't hear what I said then. You didn't hear it, because what I purposefully do is tell you about the cool part of this, and not just the silly like overall statement, God wins. Man, do you understand? There's salvation, and because he understands you're going through a long suffering, and you're going through it in a difficult situation, guys, be calm. This is a military operation. It has to go this way, and we will be there. We're already seeing the systems of the world crashing down. So I hope that helps you out. If you really like it, leave a message down below. Tell me what you're feeling on that with that too. We're praying for you all the time. Thank you so much.